This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, students, are you all able to see my screen? Is my screen visible to all of you? Great. So first of all, students, let's understand what is actually an interview. We all have heard about interviews. There are so many myths we have. We get goosebumps when we talk about interviews. We get nervous at times. We lack confidence. But trust me, let me start with a very simple sentence when I talk about interviews. Interview is just like any other conversation what we have with an individual. Interview is just like any other conversation that we have with an individual or with a group of individuals. It's basically a formal, calm, normal conversation with one person or with a group of people. So we have to first of all understand that interview performance is not a rocket science. By the way we are as an individual, we should try to portray ourselves during an interview. So today's my topic is giving a great interview. Let's start with a concept of storytelling. Now, what I mean by storytelling, uh, let me give you an analogy. At times, when you probably arrive late for a class, it happens in everyone's life. Suppose you're late for a class. Your class was supposed to start at 9 o'clock and you reached your class at 9:15. You ran, rather you were running from the bus stop, you hurried, but finally you could reach the class at 9:15. Your teacher asks, "Why are you late?" So what do? 8 out of the 10 times we create a story. Maybe we were late because we woke up late in the morning. We left our home late in the morning. But most of the times, 9 out of 10 times, we do not tell always the truth. We always make a story. What kind of story we make? There was traffic jam. I did not get a bus. Autos were not available. Or buses were very crowded. Or, my car got punctured. My bike got punctured. So we all come up with such small, short and sweet stories in life, isn't it? So we have to understand one thing. Interview is also about storytelling, where you have to actually tell a story about yourself. How well and how attractive you can make your story determines the performance of your interview. Let's get deep into it. Now, some of the character traits that are explored in interviews. What are the character traits explored in interviews? Now, what I mean to say is that when you actually face an interview, if I'm the interviewer, how am I going to mark you? If we come straight to the point, on the day of the mock interview next week, how will I actually mark you? I'll mark you on the basis of your communication skills. Every skill, what I'm talking about, has some real life implication. Try to understand. Real life implication means you are going to give an interview for a particular job, or a company has come to your campus to hire you for a specific purpose. So the company will always look how your skills can match their requirement or requirements, right? So one of the most important skills that recruiters they test is the communication skill of the interviewee. Now, communication skills means what? Now, this is again a very, very vague and shady term. Many of us we feel that communication skills means only fluency in English, isn't it? Many of us we think communication skills means only fluency in English. But let me make it very clear. See, first of all, we should remember our identity. See, we are Indians. We are born and brought up in India. English is not our mother tongue. Whatever English we have learned it in school and colleges. Right? We have learned it in schools and colleges. So we are not expected to speak English like British people or Americans or other countries where English is basically their mother tongue, isn't it? So the communication skills term refers to your ability to communicate your thoughts to the next person. When I'm talking with you at this point in time, if I can express my thoughts to you, and if you can understand what I'm trying to express, then I would say my communication with you is successful. So, without knowing much about each one of you, I'll come to know each one of you individually during the mock interview session next week. Let me tell you, when you face an interview, if you are fluent in English, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Three times I'm saying thumbs up. Even if you are good in English, you should know how to frame your words properly to express yourself. How you are able to express yourself in minimum number of words and sentences. Those who those who are not so good in fluency, there may be few of you who may not be very fluent in English, and it's a fact. I said you. Let's accept it. The first thing is that we must accept that we may not be fluent in English because that's not the language that we actually inherited in our genes. It's not a language that's basically what we speak since our birth. So even if you're not very fluent in English, try to communicate to the point. Try to communicate to the point rather than trying to say much. You should be able to express yourself using those words and sentences. Those are very, very meaningful. So at times, let me give you the first tip. The first tip. Note down my first tip. My first tip is that in an interview, you're always free to use pen and paper. If you find that some of the answers you are more comfortable writing it on the paper than saying it verbally, use pen and paper. For example, if someone asks you, explain me bubble sort or explain me merge sort. If you're not so comfortable in explaining bubble sort verbally, never mind, use the pen and paper to demonstrate it. In that way, we can translate some of our weaknesses to strengths. So use pen and paper freely during the interviews, and it's my advice that you should keep it. Now my question is, now it's an online interview. It's an online interview. How are you actually going to explain an answer using pen and paper, isn't it? Sounds funny. I'm talking about using pen and paper, but I'm also saying that it may be an online interview. I'll come to this point a bit later, that how we can use pen and paper in an online interview. Right. Next skill, let me come to analytic and quantitative skills. Analytic and quantitative skills. So there may be questions that actually will judge your analytic and quantitative skills. So we should be prepared to answer those questions. And these kind of questions are those questions where specifically you're supposed to answer through examples and analogies. These are the questions where you're supposed to answer through examples and analogies. So I'll come to this part a bit later. Okay, what I mean by I'll come to all these skills with examples a bit later. Teamwork. Now, what I mean by teamwork? Teamwork means is your ability to work in a team in this connected environment, and especially when we are working from home. And after COVID-19, honestly, after COVID-19, teamwork is one of the most widely used terms today. Try to think of any organization. Try to think of your college. Try to think about our organization or any other organization. Everyone, for example, when I talk about a college, the teachers, the students, everyone is at home. Okay, so people are collaborating over the phone or over the internet, and how actually you are good in collaboration with others will ultimately result, means ultimately will be reflected in the result. So teamwork and team building skills are truly essential nowadays. It is always essential earlier also. It's more important right now because they will try to understand how good you are actually working in teams. I'll again come to examples. Now, you know, always ask me, sir, for example, I am a very good, like team worker, or I may not be a team worker, I am a loner. How will the interviewer understand? Or how will I convince the interviewer that I am a team worker? I'll come to the answers a bit later. Just I'm highlighting all the skills which are, like tested in an interview. Ethics and integrity, probably one of the most important skill you require today in this situation, in this environment. It was always important, it is more important. And ethics and integrity, uh, these are qualities that is never compromised by corporate. So they always look for these skills in any resource they recruit in the organization. Very, very important. Why am I saying this? Try to understand. Now, we, for example, we are working from home, all of us. Now, uh, based on your ethics and integrity, you will portray yourself properly to your organization. I'll give you a simple analogy. It may happen that, like one of our team members who is working from home is actually not working. Maybe, probably he logged in into the laptop at morning 9:30, and after that, probably he or she is nowhere near the laptop, and probably he or she logs out at 7 o'clock in the evening. But whether that person is actually working or not depends on the ethics and integrity of that person. So today, in modern context, the world is running on the basis of faith on others. So when I am working from home, for an example, I have to have a faith in my colleague that he or she is also working from home. Unlike a physical environment where we all can see each other, in the present situation, we cannot really see each other. So it all depends on your integrity, your ethics, whether you're doing things from your home properly or not. So this is one quality which every organization will see, nowadays before they recruit, right? Computer skills, nothing new, nothing new to say in this. All of you are from Department of Information Technology, so all of you must have, decent computer skills, organization skills, and leadership ability. Now, these two means what? Organization skills and leadership ability. Let me just highlight a bit on that. Organization skills refers to how you can actually manage your responsibilities well, and organization skills also refers to is that how good you are also in context of uh, a fresher who's going to join the industry. Organization skill means how good you are in managing your day-to-day work. For example, I'm saying you managing your day-to-day work and reporting that to your supervisor. Uh, so you know what happens? I'll tell you. I'll just give you an analogy. Suppose I give you some work to do. Like, for example, this is your today's work. So what I expect that you at the end of the day send me a report where you mention what you did throughout the day. So based on your organization scales, probably your reporting also, varies. So if you have good organization skills, you would probably do things on time and send the report on time before the deadline, and do that in a neat and clean way, proper way. And leadership ability, let me not stress on that. It's not so essential as a fresher. So this skill actually, I have kept it. I was thinking whether I would remove this or not. May not be very relevant as a fresher, but again, if you have this, it's always a positive thing, because for a fresher, teamwork, being a part of the team is more important than leading the team. So this skill is probably more relevant for experienced professionals who applies for a job for becoming a team leader or a project leader. But again, if you have any of the ability that shows that you can be a future leader, is always a plus point. May not be so relevant right now. Okay, so any question on what we discussed till now? It was just a kind of a very general overall discussion about the kind of traits that are explored in interviews. Questions or queries from anyone? Could be anything. Okay, great. I hope my voice was clear all throughout. I hope my voice was clear all throughout. Kindly respond. Okay. This is quite an exhaustive slide. The slide what I'm showing is quite exhaustive. So I'm not going to discuss each and every element of the slide with all of you in this session, because all of you are grown up. So I'm going to share this slide right away today. So whatever I'm not discussing here in this session, I want all of you to go through that yourself, and probably ask me questions later if you have doubts. Let me skip this. Now this is very, very important. Okay, let me straight away come to one part of this slide before I come back to the rest. Why? Because today the entire paradigm has shifted from offline to online interviews. So let me first discuss you some of my quick suggestions regarding online interviews before I go back to classical interviews. So let me go to probably a slide which way back. Yeah, this one. Online interviews, 14 tips. Online interviews, 14 tips. So I give you 30 seconds to 1 minute time. I want all of you to go through all the 14 points. Please go through all the 14 points quickly before I come to. Students, the biggest challenge of online interviews or online any kind of interactions, let me tell you, trust me, the biggest challenge of online interviews are distractions. And this is so common, distractions. Now, what I mean by distractions. Now, when you actually face any interview or any kind of, like online meeting, it could be even a viva of your college exam. So, the first thing is that you should take care of the distractions. And for that, remember, it sounds so simple, but you have to do a little bit of homework and we miss out those small, small things. I'll just give you a very simple example. Like today morning, when I was thinking of taking this session, online session with you all, I was thinking the first thing what I thought is that I should keep a backup internet connection. Very, very important. So, I use basically a GeoFi device to connect to internet. So I made sure that in case my GeoFi device fails, I should have a backup internet connection. So I kept one dongle of mine ready, and definitely I also have ensured that my mobile hotspot is on, so that in case of an emergency, I should be able to connect there. Now, why am I saying this? On the day of the interview, whenever it happens, if you feel that at your home, and by chance, if the company decides that the interviews students can give from the respective home, if you are not confident about the internet connection at your home, go to a relative's place, go to a friend's place, go to anywhere else where you are confident that you have backup internet connection. See, it's very annoying at both ends when we do not find a proper like internet connectivity to communicate. That's why it has become a habit. Every 5 minutes probably we all say, am I audible, am I visible? So remember this, this is very important. So you should do this homework before the day comes. If you're not confident about things are smooth at your home, it can happen. See, where I say, for example, let me give a live example. Where I stay in the city of Kolkata, we do not have standard broadbands. I do not have a Jio fiber in my area. I don't have an Airtel broadband in my area. So when the lockdown started, I was so baffled, so puzzled what to do. And my life is about taking sessions, taking classes, doing meetings. So initially, for first 15 days, like life was so pathetic. Then I was started wondering what to do. Then I got a Jio Fi, I got an Airtel dongle, recharged my Jio mobile, and I know the position in now. I know which corner of my room gives me the best network. I'm so confident about my house now. I know like where to give my mobile, where to give my Geo5, so that I get a good network. So you should do this homework. Okay, number one, there should not be any kind of problems regarding connectivity. Number two, use a neutral background. Try to find a background or sit somewhere so that people do not pass at your back. Why? Because why am I talking about distractions? Because you should be able to concentrate. See, concentration is the biggest challenge in an online interview. So you should try to sit, at a place where you do not have people, moving around you. Because see, every house is different, and we should not comment about that. We should respect that. See, in every house we have different members, and there will be daily codes. So you have to find a location where you can be, where you can be peaceful and you can attend the interview without any disturbance. Next, um, test your gear. Now, what is the meaning of this? What I mean to say that whenever you are probably given a link, for example, for these online meetings and all, you're shared a link in advance. Always you should have a habit of opening the link in advance to check what the link is showing you, whether the link is showing you waiting for the organizer, waiting for the like host. So you should always check the link before the actual moment. Why? Because at times by mistake, when we are sharing the links to many, by mistake you may get a wrong link. That's pretty possible. Now your interview is at 9 a.m. in the morning. You find that 8:55 the link is not opening, so you do not have time to even report that. So you should test your gear. Apart from link, you should test your microphone, you should test your speaker. You should just be perfect. Like here also there is a point called use earbuds. Many of us have a habit, at times even I do, to be very honest. I speak normally without headphones. Without using headphones, I speak. But definitely when you use when you speak without headphones, there is going to be surrounding noise. And please, 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 please avoid wireless. Please avoid wireless headphones on the day of the interview. Wireless headphones are very good when you chat with your friend or when you chat with your group of friends. But wireless headphones, especially the Bluetooth headphones nowadays, are very popular. People are buying it. With Bluetooth headphones, there is always an additional noise. So use a normal traditional headphone when you actually attend the interview. Next, practice. See, practice means what? I'm talking about these mock interviews. After you set up everything, you just call upon anyone, maybe a friend, or maybe a teacher, or maybe us. See, even after the classes, 30 hours of classes, students, you are free to contact us for any kind of, like suggestions, advice, or practice. I, Dhruvo sir, or, your teacher, Joyjit sir, or anyone else at Ardent, we are always there to help you out for anything. So practice. Once you are set, suppose you have an interview, for example, you have an interview on maybe 10th of September. So if you want, you can always do a practice round with us on 8th September, or maybe with your friend, or maybe with a college teacher, your choice. But please always go for a practice. Remember, even the best of the best, starting from Usain Bolt to Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, they also do practice before the big day. So even the best of the best, like Ronaldo, Messi, everyone practices. So there is no harm. There's nothing wrong in doing more and more practice. Next, a very important point is that choose a small chair. Now this is very important. Why am I saying? See, like at times we sit on the bed, or we sit on a couch, we sit on the sofa, where the focus goes more on the background than you. It's always better to. I always suggest what I do when I conduct a very important interview. I always sit on the sofa, and see you properly. You should be visible. You should be visible properly. So you should have proper lightings. If required, switch on all the lights. You can also have a focus. If you have a do something. I mean to say, it should be clearly visible. It should not be dark. So these are the things what you should do as a practice. So what I do, like I'll just tell you one thing. I'll just give you a very simple example. The other day, I had a very special presentation. It was an all in pan India presentation. It was even like broadcasted live globally. So I was a bit nervous because there were more than 10,000 live participants. I took an online session. So before the online session, what I did, I saw myself. What I did is that I connected through my laptop, and then I was seeing myself as a participant from my mobile. So what I did, I joined it as an organizer from the laptop, and from my mobile, I connected to that link as a participant and wanted to get a feel that how am I looking, my background, myself, everything. So I did a self practice. So when I saw myself in my mobile, I could understand that everyone else would see me in the same way in my mobile. So accordingly, I readjusted my screen, readjusted my background, I did an adjusting of myself. So you can also do self practice. That's something which is very, very important. Now this is the most important. Make a cheat sheet. What is the meaning of cheat sheet? See, the positive side of online interviews are that they cannot see anything apart from your camera. Means they can see only your face. So if you want to say something, or if you want to remember certain points that are like very important, or if you suppose, for example, I'll tell you, suppose you want to say few points about your internship to the interviewers. Now you're not very confident, like that how would you explain yourself in 4 5 sentences. So what you can do is that you can create a cheat sheet. Cheat sheet means you can write 4 5 points on the internship on a piece of paper, and probably stick it on the wall in front of you, or even you can stick it on the laptop screen. They cannot see your screen, they can only see your face via the camera. You can use a sticky note and put it on the laptop screen, or maybe just behind the like laptop screen. I mean to say, whatever, like, this is an advantage. You should, whatever things you think you should actually highlight. And if you think that, you should not forget a point, because the first question in an online interview would be, tell me something about yourself. This is the biggest question and the most important question. Now, when you tell about yourself, we miss out so many important points. In a real life interview, there is no way that we have a cheat sheet, but in an online interview, we may have a cheat sheet. So if you want to talk about 8 9 points regarding tell me about yourself, you can write those 8 9 points on a sticky note, and stick it on your laptop screen, so that when you talk, you can see all those 8 9 points. Remember, my students, even the best of the speakers, when they give a speech, they keep a note in front of them. They keep a list of points in front of them, so that they do not forget a point. So there is nothing wrong in that. So when you actually face an interview, jot down all the important points that you want your interviewer to know about you, right? So these are some of the online interview like tips that I wanted to share with you. Do you have any question regarding these 14 points? Any question on what I discussed? Very generic. Remember what I'm discussing with you. Trust me, you may think, sir, we know all of these. But remember, I am not here to tell you something which is new. I'm just trying to emphasize that practice what I am saying. Practice properly what I am saying. So whatever I said to you, you have to do some homework about it if you want the interview to go amazing. I'm a very, very specific person, and I really differentiate between a good interview and an amazing interview. And I want your interviews to be amazing, not just good. Any question on or other questions on what I discussed till now? Sure, should we give the priority to co-curricular activity or describing ourselves? Yeah, Vinash. Sir, you was not audible for some time. I was not audible. 10:23. Oh, am I audible now? Okay. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Okay. So Manish, I probably answered what's cheat sheet, isn't it? Is it clear what I mean by cheat sheet? Sir, will I be able to give mock test before a day of actual corporate with your? Yes, Manish, why not? Why not, Manish? That's what I said. That's what I said, Manish. Cheat sheet is very important. And so that we don't forget the points. And that's the advantage. See, we should try to take advantage of the online platform. See, many of us during this COVID-19, my dear students, the world is full of negativity. People are only talking about negative things. But what I'm telling that let us try to take advantages of the online virtual platform. That otherwise is very difficult for us to really capitalize. So cheat sheets are very, very important. We should not forget points. Okay. Now, regarding co-curricular, someone asked about co-curricular. Yeah. Uh, Avinash asked about co-curricular. Okay. Avinash, I'll come to your point very soon. Later part, later part of the presentation, I'm going to come to CV or resume preparation. When I talk about resume preparation, I will discuss about the co-curricular things that we must say or we must put in the resume. Now, let me come to the storytelling part. Students, I was talking about storytelling. Let's come to the storytelling part. What I mean by that, I'll teach you a technique. Let me first of all tell you what are the different kinds of questions we can face in an interview. Different kinds of questions, categorizing questions, technical questions, mostly on your subjects, coding, and general aptitude. Now, what I mean by that, questions from your curriculum could be some coding questions and general aptitude questions. With the online paradigm, we must also think wisely. With the online paradigm, chances are that they may not ask you to write much code. Why? Because see, earlier what used to happen during a face-to-face interview, see, I'm trying to differentiate with my analytical skills regarding the online interview and the offline interview. In an offline interview, earlier what I noticed, an interviewer asked someone to write a small code maybe for a bubble sort. But most likely that may not really happen in an online interview. Why? Because it is very difficult, because from where will you write first of all? See, they will not give you the remote control. They may give you the remote control and ask you to write and all. That's pretty time consuming. That may happen in some niche companies where probably out of 1000 students they only shortlist 20 students for the interview. It can happen there where they give you the screen control and ask you to write code. I'll come to that portion later. But initially, what we are discussing about mass recruiters. Suppose if you have a company like TCS who has a plan to recruit 200, 300 students. So under that circumstance, it may not be that they will ask you to share your screen and write code. So the questions maybe mostly of, that is what the feedback I got from my friends also in the industry. The questions maybe are more aptitude centric. I mean to say is that they can show you a question. For example, I mean to say they can show you a question like this. They can show you a question like this. They can show you a question like this and ask you what is the output, right? So to answer this question, you need not type anything. So they may give you 1 or 2 minutes time where you see this question and you verbally say the output. So these are more, what I am saying is that technical aptitude centric questions than rather writing code kind of questions. Correct. So that's what I mean by that. Coding and general aptitude. General aptitude means they can also ask you questions from quantitative aptitude, may not be. So coding means coding will be mostly MCQ output based or logical questions. So that is what the trend will be this time, except what I said, some niche companies where they probably recruit very few students, 5 10 from a college, where they may take a very lengthy long interview. There there may be a possibility that they will ask you to share your screen and write code. So we will look at both the perspectives. That's why the classes are being organized. So in these classes you are learning both the like aptitude kind of questions as well as uh, programming kind of questions. We are learning both in these classes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Next, behavioral questions, specific situations. What do you mean by behavioral questions? These are the questions. Remember at the beginning I told that they test your analytical skills, that is your quantitative skills. What they can ask your they can also ask questions. Like, I'll just give you an example. They may ask you a question. Suppose you were working in a project. Suppose you were working in a project, or suppose you will work on a project where there are 5 members in the team. Listen to my question carefully. Suppose you're going to work on a project where there will be 5 members in the team. Suddenly, out of those 5 members, 2 members will leave for some reason. Maybe they will be leaving the job, going to some other, or maybe they will be moved to some other project. How will you handle the situation? How will you handle the situation? What will you do in that case? Maybe you have another 10 days, like with those two before they leave your project. So what will you do? Right. These are called, behavioral questions, specific questions. Or they can also, ask you a question. Suppose after you join our organization, you find that your fellow colleague who sits next to your desk, you find that your fellow colleague is doing unethical activities. Like, your fellow colleague is getting pen drives every day to the company and taking data out of the company. What will you do? Correct. So these are very typical questions. What I was trying to tell you at the beginning, the character traits. Remember, I was talking about the character traits, ethics and integrity. Now, how will you actually portray your ethics and integrity? They try to understand your ethics and integrity, or maybe any other behavioral trait, by asking you questions. Now, the moment I ask you this question, what will you do when your fellow colleague, you find that is doing something which is not as per the policy of the organization? Now, your answer will say your like internal quality of ethics and integrity. So these kind of behavioral questions, they ask you to understand your behavior. And the classic questions, your background strengths, the classic questions are the most difficult questions. The classic questions are the most difficult questions because they sound so easy, but we hardly prepare these answers. And trust me, if I ask you what are your strengths without preparation, I'm sure you're going to really mess it up. We will see all these things, when we meet next week during the mock interview. right? So you understood the different kind of questions that are asked. I'll come to more and more examples very soon. Uh, uh, let me just so what is the behavioral interview question? I already told you these questions are asked to get you to be specific or experience you have had. They ask on the reasoning that your past behavior will be similar to your future behavior. Then they judge you on whether you or not your past behavior will be a good fit with the company culture. I'll come to the examples. Give me an example of a time when you were on a team and someone was not pulling their weight. Give me an example of a time when you exhibited leadership skills. Give me an example of a time when a project you were working on failed. Suppose this is the question. Give me an example of a time when you were on a team and someone was not pulling their weight. Suppose a question like this is asked to you. What will you answer? What will you answer? Now, what they try to understand from this question. Give me an example of a time when you were on a team and someone was not pulling their weight. Don't you think it's common? Suppose your ma'am or sir gave you a small project, a task to do, and assigned that work to 4 of you. How many times it has happened that out of 4, probably 2 works actively, 2 of them are dormant? Isn't it common? It's so common in everything. When you conduct any event, suppose you plan to conduct a departmental event. Now there are 10 members in the committee. You will always find that out of 10, 6 are very active, 4 are not so active. So how do you do in that? Do you go and fight with others? Now you're a 4-member project group. 2 of them are working, 2 of them are not working. So what will you do? Will you fight with your rest too? Not really, no? So how will you actually approach this? Why they ask you this question? The first question is asked to test your team building skills. The first question is asked to test your team building skills, right? So why they ask you the first question? Give me an example of a time when you were on a team and someone was not pulling their weight. So what you should answer? Sir, ma'am, I remember when we were in second year. I'm just try to understand. I'm trying to giving you a sample answer. Sample answer. I'm not saying my answer is going to be the perfect one, but I'm trying to give you a sample answer. For example, you can always say sir or ma'am. Now this is called storytelling. Why am I saying storytelling? Give me an example of a time when you were on a team and someone was not pulling their weight. It may be the fact that such incident never happened with you. Yes or no? It never happened with you. Every time when you were working on a team, it was perfect. Never, nothing happened with you in your life when one of your team members was not pulling their weight, isn't it? So what will you say to the interview? No, ma'am, no, sir, it never happened with me. You may say that, but they won't. That may not be the suitable answer, right? Am I audible now, Ashutosh? You said I was not audible. Am I audible now? Okay. Try to understand. Now here you have to make a story. This is what I call storytelling. I'll be sharing with you a list of common questions for which you have to write down stories. Now let me tell you a story. Now what I'm going to tell you right now never happened with me, but still I'm telling you. When I was in my second year, we were given a project on C programming by our teacher. We were supposed to do the project in 7 days and submit it to a teacher. We were a team of 3 friends from the same class, same section. But on the third day, I realized that one among 3 of us is not really focusing on the project that was given to us. And it also happened in the fourth day. So we were left only with 3 days. So myself and only one more friend we were doing. The other person was not focusing for 2 days. Third day, fourth day, he or she did not focus. So we had only 3 days. So I was wondering what to do. So what I did is that I just, asked my friend to go to the canteen for a sandwich. I asked him, or I asked her, let's go and to the canteen and have a sandwich, and let's, let's spend some good time in between two periods. During that, while having the sandwich, I just, said him or her that, see, we have 3 more days in hand. I know maybe you are not focusing for some valid reason, and I truly comply to your reasons. I have no objection to that. But I would request you that our sir or ma'am has given this work and we have 3 days in time. So can't we, like sit together and sort out the timetable so that at least for next 3 days you can manage 2 hours to 3 hours every day to focus on this project? Why don't we, sit together and plan something? I will I will adapt to your time. If you think that you are free in the evening, 6 to 9, I'll shift my schedule accordingly, my tuitions, my other co-curricular activities, so that for next 3 days, we can sit together and do it from 6 to 9. And like after this small sandwich activity with my friend, for the next 3 days, I found that he or she focused based on the based on the plan what we had, and ultimately we submitted a very successful project to a teacher. So what I've learned from my experience, that in the past, that when to work in a team, it's easier when we discuss, it's easier when we collaborate, it's easier when we share our problems with each other, it's easier when we adapt to each other's situations, when we understand each other's situations rather than blaming each other. So my lesson from the past is that let's not blame each other when we work as a team. Let's understand each other and work together. So my students, see, this is what a story. See, this story never happened with me. I just said you, like, out of the box, I said it to you. But when I say this story, the other person would understand, okay, chalo, like they will get an impression, okay, this guy or this, this guy can really work in a team, because he or she understands the basic funda of a teamwork. Basic funda of a teamwork is don't allegate, don't fight, don't blame, rather discuss, collaborate, adapt. These terminologies are very important. Don't fight, don't allegate, don't get into a conflict, rather discuss, collaborate, adapt. This is what I call about storytelling. See, I'll teach you a technique called STAR. Remember this technique. How to answer behavioral questions with the STAR technique. STAR means, first of all, situation and a background information. The first thing when you tell a story is that you have to first think of the plot. देखो मतलब, when we see a movie also, when we see a theater also, every movie and theater or a serial or a series has to have a plot. Based on the plot, the entire movie is actually made. Maybe the plot is very small, but out of that, probably a 3 hours movie, or like a 6 episode series is made. So you have to think of a situation, then task. Now, when I talk about the example which I gave just now, what was my situation? My situation was a project given by my teacher, right? That was the situation. Now, what was the task? Now, task means what needed to be done. Task was that we needed to complete that project in 7 days. And let me add one more point to the situation. The situation, another point is that one of our team members was not focusing on the project. Now, what action, like I took? The action taken means, what did I do to solve the problem? So the action was that sandwich eating activity in the canteen that transformed my friend that made my friend understand that I actually can collaborate with him or her. And what was the result? The result is the final output. What was the final output? That we could submit the project on time. So your answer should take approximately 2 minutes, not long, not long. Don't go for 5 minutes, only 2 minutes, maximum 2 minutes. 2 minutes is also too long. 1 minute, 1 to 1.5 minutes. So I've given an example, find 8 stories from your past. So what you should do, see the character traits what I discussed. With every trait, there should be a story. I told you one story about the teamwork. I told you once, I'll tell you one more story about, for example, ethics and integrity. For every character trait, you should have 1 or 2 stories ready. So that whenever they ask you a question to test your character trait, you should be able to tell that particular story. Right. So this is an example. See, one more example I can tell you. Tell me about a specific time when your verbal communication skills were on display. Suppose this is the question. Now I say I have a very good communication skill. It's better to talk about a specific time or an incident that will automatically convince the interviewer that I have good communication skills. Now, if this is a behavioral question, how to answer this? First of all, situation. 3 months ago, I became a member of a public speaking club to improve my presentation skills. So this is the situation. Now, what was the task? And soon after that, I was required to make my first speech. Then what action did I take? I chose the topic water conservation. I knew that other club members wanted to hear more about this topic because they had been asking me about my environmental science studies degree and what I had learned about water conservation. I made sure my talk had a clear beginning, middle, and end, and took along some photos to pass around. Although I was nervous, I maintained eye contact with my audience, spoke without notes, and finished right on the 5 minute time limit. Now, what was the result? The feedback I received was encouraging. I have since made several longer speeches and feeling a lot more confident about speaking in front of a group. That's why I'm confident that I would be able to make presentations as part of my job. So, since an example, like this, you should frame 8 to 10 stories of your past. If you do not have a story, make a story, write a story, so that you portray one behavioral trait, communication skills, analytical skills, team building skills, computer skills, and so on. Then classic questions. These are classic questions. The difficult. What are your strengths, interest? What salary are you looking for? Hobbies. Okay. See, we will discuss this. Um, um, then research. Research always helps. It's very important. When you attend an interview, offline or online, you should do very well research about the company. It's like when you go to buy a product. Suppose you want to buy a television for your home, or you want to buy a mobile phone for yourself. Do you do a research on the phone? Yes or no? You do a research. You Google about the configuration of the phone. You Google about the feedback of the phone. You check the reviews of the phone in different e-commerce portal like Amazon, Flipkart. Once you are convinced, then only you pay money. Similar with the television, you see everything about the television. You compare the cost with the quality delivered, and then you finally buy the television, or the smartphone. Similarly, whenever you are about to join a company, you are dedicating your time and your career for that company. And the company also wants, if the student says, suppose we all say in our resume, our objective is to work with your organization. You say in an interview, sir or madam, I want to join your company. If the company asks you why you want to join my company, if the company asks you why you want to join my company, there are hundreds of companies. Why you want to join my companies? So you should do enough research. You should know about the number of employees, revenue, headquarters, traits that the company values, right? The areas, the projects the company actually, is working on, so that you can tell, see sir or ma'am, I'm an information technology aspiring engineer. I want to want work in your organization because your organization works in these areas like data science, machine learning, web development. So as a fresher, I want to learn in your organization. Your organization has global presence, so I want to work in a global environment. There are 3 lakhs people working there, like blah blah blah. I'm just not telling the answer right now because I want you to frame your answers. But what I'm trying to say that you should do a research about the company before you appear for the interview, and you should write down these points, and these points should be there on the cheat sheet. Because sometime a company may ask you, what are the latest projects we are doing. Do you have any idea? If the company is TCS, you should go to TCS website and see on the latest news, latest projects. If the company is Cognizant, company is Capgemini, IBM, you should do a research, or any other company should do a research on what they're doing. Because these questions are very common, and especially in this online format they're more common. And you should write those things on the cheat sheet. Revenue of TCS, revenue. But I see these are general knowledge questions. You may not be exactly accurate, but you should know that TCS has more than 4 lakh employees. You should not say TCS has 50,000 employees. That's very funny. If you say 3 lakh 50,000, okay, 4 lakhs, okay, fair enough. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let me come out of this presentation, enough of it. I'm going to share with you. Let me come to the resume part. I'm going to share this. We'll discuss this again in the next class. Now, let me give you a disclaimer. The resume format, what I am sharing is the general format, but the final format will be decided by the college or the department if it is required, because at times some companies, they have their own format of resume. So you must prepare a resume based on my format, what I am sharing. But if the college or the department shares some other format, you should change it accordingly. I'm just sharing a sample format. Is it visible? Is it visible to all of you? Is it visible to all of you? Not visible. My resume is not visible. My screen is not visible. Okay, one second. Is it visible now, my screen? My screen, is it visible? Okay, I do not know. I share. For how long it was not visible? My screen was not visible for how long? Because I kept my, like screen shared constantly. For how long it was not visible, my screen? This was the last slide I used. Did you see this? Wacha, you were seeing online interview slides. Fair enough, fair enough. Now it's visible. Great. Now, see, this is a sample resume. This is a sample resume. This is not the perfect one. There are so many formats available. This is just the one. Now, when you prepare your resume for, the present situation, the post-COVID, or not, this is a very bad term. People are saying post-COVID. The COVID situation right now, the present situation, especially for online placements, you should have a photograph of yours on the resume. First point. Photograph should be there. Photograph. Pic on the resume has to be there, because there has to be some kind of connection. They should be able to know you. Since they cannot see you, they should actually see your photo on the resume. Then the achievements. For example, I am a Microsoft certified professional. I have a Microsoft badge. Any kind of achievement you have, any kind of achievement, professional achievement, which you think is notable, could be a global certification, could be maybe somewhere in some competition you came first, or maybe you actually had a rank, may not be first, you had a recognition. You can highlight those badges. I call it as badges. I call it as badges on the resume. that like tells about it. The moment someone sees this, the moment a company sees this, these are very popular. They will understand that I am a Microsoft certified professional. Anything if you think is that should be noticed, you should keep there. Then your name, a date when it is updated, starts with an objective. Write your objective. This is my objective: innovate learning techniques to research, practice, and delivery. Facilitate to make the trainees experience. Knowledge is power. Power leads to growth. Growth is life. This is my objective. So your objective will be your objective. So I cannot give you your objectives, but I can always comment on your objective, whether it is attractive or not. Then I start with achievements. I want your resume to have achievements first. Why am I saying is that many people start with their education qualification. Now, trust me, now again, there is a kind of a balance what you have to strike. Listen to me, students. See, first of all, when a company you are shortlisted because you are from Techno India, yes or no? They know you are from Techno India. They know you are from IT. They know about your, like average CGPA. That's why you were eligible. So in your resume, you first show those things that they want to know more about you. If some of you are exceptional, in academics, I do not know, all throughout, like a very, very high percentage, then you can highlight that first. It's always boast. It's always good to boast something that you have good in you. Otherwise, normally I talk about achievements first, beyond academics, internships. Highlight your internships. Under this, write about your internships. Write about your internships. 2-3 line, what you did. Then projects. Apart from internships, many of you probably have done or will do academic projects. Academic projects. The trainings. The trainings that you have undergone. Trainings. The seminars and workshops that you have attended. Seminars and workshops that you have attended. Especially in this online mode, many of you are attending many webinars, etc. So, these. You should highlight them. Many students, they think, I'll just, let me, destroy one more myth. Many people think that when you write about your internship, write about your training, write about your projects, you will be asked more questions. Yes or no? How many of you think that writing about trainings, internships, projects, you will be asked more questions? What do you think? Many of you feel it's scary to write these things. Like you get a feeling, if I write AI/ML, will I be asked more questions? Avinash says, me sir. Manish says, yes sir. Now my students, Akash, everyone says, I know everyone would say yes. Let me tell you, students, the psychology of writing this. Now, whether you believe me or trust me is your choice. You may not trust me, you may trust me. See, मेरे लिए क्या important है? What is important to me? What is important to me is that Manish Kumar Jha, how much initiative Manish Kumar Jha has taken in last 3 years to upgrade himself or herself. I know Manish Kumar Jha is a third-year student. I know Manish Kumar Jha is not a punter or not an expert. But I will always appreciate Manish Kumar Jha if probably he did 2 trainings, 2 projects, 1 or 2 internships, attended 4-5 seminars. Because इसमें मुझे क्या लगेगा, the kind of feeling what I will have, that this boy tries. This boy tries to learn new things. मेरे लिए important नहीं how much he or she knows that subject, because first of all, that subject is out of curriculum. What is important to me is that Manish Kumar Jha is familiar with the curriculum. अगर Manish Kumar Jha writes here, I did a training on Google AR VR. अगर Manish Kumar Jha writes ki I did a training on Google AR VR. Even if Manish Kumar Jha knows even if Manish Kumar Jha knows 0.00001% of this, 0.0001% of this, then Manish Kumar Jha, for example, knows more than Akash Shaw, who did not do this training. Try to understand my point. Agar Manish Kumar Jha knows 0.0001% about this, knows more than Akash Shaw, who did not do this training. And I will understand Manish Kumar Jha actually has a tendency to learn new things, right? So don't worry, anything extra achievement you write is always a positive. ऐसा नहीं है कि you should know everything about that. It should show your intention, how much keen you are. Why am I saying to my students to attend as many seminars and workshops as possible when you are at home. Trust me, at Ardent, we have conducted 300 webinars in last more than 300 webinars. We have conducted more than 300 webinars in last 3 months for over 12,000 students. Out of, and for all those webinars, we have given e-certificates. And I know students who have attended more than 10 plus webinars. Now, what I mean to say that I appreciate those students who attended these webinars. See, these are all free webinars. Like, people came and attended. For example, we have a webinar. I'll share the link with you when I'm discussing today. We have a very good, webinar. Is my screen visible to all of you? Is it visible, the webinar banner screen? Yes or no? Is this a webinar banner screen? Yes, yes. See, we have a webinar that is on 9th July, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's going to be a session on modern data science by Mr. Prabhuddha Samadar, who is a senior delivery manager of Cognizant. And this will be live, like on YouTube, live on Facebook. I'll be sharing the link with all of you. I would like all of you to, join this. He has over 16 years of experience. He's a close friend of mine. Rather, we have worked together for many years, like in different projects. He's a senior delivery manager right now with CTS. This program is on 9th July. So I'll share the link, the YouTube live link and the Facebook live link with all of you later. So all of you can actually, attend this. He will be giving a very good session on modern data science for the students. It's going to be around 1.5 hour students, 1.5 hour session. So please attend that. Okay, let me come back to what I was discussing. Now, after achievements, write down your skills. Technical skills, behavioral skills. Skills में क्या करोगे ना? What you will do, technical. Now this is my resume, so let me change it. What will I do is that in technical, I'll divide it into core computer science, programming. I mean to say in core computer science means I'm talking more about the theoretical papers. For example, like DBMS, OS, data structure, programming, for example, C, Java, Python. Just segregate. क्योंकि कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, they ask you, tell me 2 favorite subjects of yours, 2 favorite subjects. So what I tell my students, you should say, when I talk about 2 favorite subjects, let me segregate into core computer science subjects and programming languages. So in core computer science, my favorite subjects are DBMS and OS, and in programming languages, my favorite subjects are, for example, C and Java. So that's how you should segregate, right? And the behavioral, like what I said, whatever skills you have. Now the next section, once you are done with this, the next section is co-curricular. So in co-curricular, you should write your co-curricular activities, whatever co-curricular you do. Like you were asking, Avinash was asking, I suppose, about co-curricular. So co-curricular is very important. After skills, you should write your co-curricular activities. And co-curricular activities means everything. Suppose, like maybe, like some of you are part of Geekonics team, some of you are part of maybe Samartian team, or some of you are part of any other club. Mention those things. Some of you, like any kind of co-curricular, it could be any kind of hobbies, everything. Co-curricular, put everything within that. We don't want many different sections in your resume. Under co-curricular, put everything. Next, you put your education, and then, like, couple of sentences about you and keywords. Just for example, it could be anything, like, I've just written about myself. So you can write about yourself in 2 3 lines regarding who you are, so that people know you better. So that's a very simple resume format. I think I'm going to share this with you. It's hardly a 2 pages resume format, ideally for someone like you to you know showcase yourself to companies. Fine. Questions, students? So let me summarize what we did today. Let me summarize what we did today. Discussed about interviews. Discussed about interviews. Understood about online interviews. Resume writing, effective but concise resume. So this is basically, what we did today. So is it clear, students, what we discussed today? What is the industry question and topic based on training syllabus, and we don't how to deal with that? Very good, Akash. Yeah, I understand. Never mind, like how to deal with that. Suppose like you are doing machine learning and Python, right? Machine learning, AI machine learning. So when we talk about any subject, the scope is, huge. When I talk about AI machine learning, let me just take an example of this. The entire scope is huge. So there is always a possibility that they ask you a question and you do not know. First of all, students, there is no harm to say you do not know. That's why what I say to my students, that when they ask about your training, when they ask about your training, you should do one thing. That's, what when I'll share this resume, I'll share the exact format. See, when we talk about a training, see what I do. Suppose I say I have done an internship. Suppose I've done an internship on, for example, C programming. I've done an internship of C programming. Internship C programming. I said, you should write few lines about your that. So in C program, what I did, I learned about data types. I learned about conditional structures. I learned about arrays. I learned about pointers. I learned about structure. That's it. Suppose you do not know unions, you do not know files, don't write. So what I tell to my students, that when you write your internships, rather than writing only the topic, you also, rather than only writing the subject, you also write some topics that you know, so that you very clearly tell कि मुझे C पता है, I know C, but in C I know these things. Like suppose whatever you're learning in your AIML internship, whatever study is teaching you, you only write internship on AIML and you write those topics what sir taught you. Taki you can say clearly, sir, this is AI and ML internship I did, and these are things I learned. So that when you get a question out of your like scope, you should be able to say with confidence, sir, I did not learn this, but definitely I want to learn that in future. And once you make it very clear, they will most probably ask you from the areas where what are mentioned in your resume, and there is no harm in saying no, that I do not know. This may always happen. See, remember one thing, remember students, you get a job by answering 5 to 6 or 7 out of 10 questions. To get a job, you don't have to answer 10 out of 10 questions. What is important is that how you answer those 5, 6 questions, and it is equally important how you say no about those 4 questions that you do not know. So if you do not know, be humble, say politely, sir, I do not know the answer. I did not study this topic. Definitely given an opportunity, I'll learn this topic. Rather than being a dragger who talks crap without, there are some of us, even if we do not know the answer, we talk crap. We drag the, like answer, we talk out of context. Don't do that. Sir, you said we can add coding skills about which we have idea equals to nil. After that, they started, which I can answer, won't it give them. See, why will you have, first of all, see, try to understand why will you write something where your idea equals to nil? Don't write, don't write, don't write. Suppose you attended a seminar on data science. Suppose, look at my screen. Suppose you have attended a seminar on modern data science, held on 9/7/2020. I got an overview of data science and data migration. It was a clear introduction to the topic. See, that is what I'm saying. इतना तो आप लिख ही सकते हो. Sir, is necessary कि online like Coursera, edX, which we do in this lockdown period. Yeah, you may. Why not? See, if you have done a course on Coursera, edX, or anywhere else like at Ardent, like many students are doing so many courses with us at Ardent. You can always write those, but try to understand what I'm trying to emphasize again and again. Write in a line or 2 or 3 whatever you know about that topic. Modern data science held on, I got an overview of data science and data migration. It was a clear introduction to the topic. Good, done, full stop. Now someone asks you deep question about data science, you can always say, sir or ma'am, I attended the webinar to get a broad idea, about it. But definitely I have interest in that, and future I'm going to learn that. Someone asks you a question on file handling in C. Here you mention in internship data types, conditional structures, arrays, pointers, structure. You can always say, sir or ma'am, in the internship, I did data types, conditional structures up to structure, but definitely I would want to learn unions, and files in the near future. So, see, can you assure me one thing? Even if I, for example, Avinash, Krishnendu, if I ask you what's your favorite subject, what's your favorite, Avinash, you tell me one subject that you are most confident in, or Christian, you tell me one subject, or maybe Akash, you tell me one subject that you are most confident in. Just tell me any subject. Just write whatever comes in your mind, right? The subject that you are most confident in. Adarsh says OS, Avinash, Krishnendu, Akash, Avinash says coding in Java. Good, very good, very good. Now Avinash, others and others try to understand. Manish says C programming language. Now Mohammad Tausif says maths. Now tell me others, Avinash, Manish, Tausif, is it that if I ask you questions, any question on the subjects you mentioned, will you be able to answer? For example, coding in Java, Avinash says, if I ask you Any coding can you answer? Manish, can you answer any question? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. ये तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता है. That's not possible. So let us accept it. ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता कि we can answer everything. No one in this world. अरे, if I say I'm working in Java for last 17 years, then also there may be questions that I'm unable to answer. It is possible. So there is nothing wrong in saying that I do not know, I'll learn. But it is always good to say, sir, I tried to learn Java, I tried to learn data science. I know 1%, I know 2%. It's always better than those who do not know. बाकी जो लोग हैं ना, those who are going to take your interview are matured enough. The person who will take your interview sitting at the opposite side is also very sure that he or she doesn't know everything about the subject what he works on, right? So it's very common in this world. Don't worry about the negatives if you do not know. Focus on the little bit that you know. Concentrate on the little bit that you know. Correct. Okay. No worries. We'll discuss about these things in the subsequent sessions also. And if you want to ask me more questions, you can always, call me up, or you can always, mail me, WhatsApp me. My number is there in the group. So you can always take my number and also WhatsApp me. So we can always take it up later. No problem. Other questions? Questions? See, on the day of are the interviewers kind enough to pass this? Yes. Come on, Manish. Trust me, believe me. I swear, my brother, they are kind enough. Because if a company, अच्छा एक चीज मुझे बोलो, tell me one thing. When a company like TCS comes to a college and picks up 200 students, 300 students, do you think all those 300 students are punters and experts? Are they, like out of the world coders, experts? 300, 200, is it? 200, 300 students from a college. Okay, a company comes and pick one student from a, no, 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 right. So they want, they want inspired, motivated, enthusiastic students who are keen to learn, who are positive, correct, who have a decent communication skill. They want that kind of a student. So Manish, please don't worry. Please don't worry. We are listening. Interview is for rejection, not for selection. No. Interview, मैं आपको, I'll give you a different perspective of that. Round of aptitude, round of, like coding, all those rounds are actually rounds of rejection. Interview is the actual round of selection. I'll tell you one secret. Whenever, I'll tell you one secret. Suppose a company like TCS comes to the campus and finally they take 350 students to the round of interview. Every company, when they come to the college, they will have a count. Means, they will have a kind of an average count. Chalo, we are going to Techno India main Saltec, means यहाँ से हम लोग maximum 400 बंदे को ले सकते. We can take maximum 400 students. So what they do, if they have to take 400 students, what they do is that they take as many students to the interview round, or maybe a few more than that. So suppose they take 450 students to the round of the interview. Interview is the round of selection. It's not the round of rejection. In the interview, unless and until you do something wrong, you're not rejected. People take you to the interview only to select. When people, they do a blunder in the interview, they get rejected. नहीं तो a company who has got 400 students in the mind, if 450 students they shortlist for interview, if those 450 students they perform well, they will take all 450, because 50 buffer can always be there with the company. In interview, if you do not do anything right, trust me, no problem, but don't do anything wrong. Don't be rude. Don't speak like a hypocrite. Don't show off. Don't try to convince the interview with your fake answers. So these are the main problems, don't try to over impress. These are the main problems, what students create. आपको आंसर पता ही नहीं, but you drag the answer for 2 minutes. अरे इससे अच्छा है say no, humble no. Sir, I do not know this. I told you na, like you have to answer only 5 to 7 questions to get a job. No one answers 10 out of 10 to get a job. And there are students who answer 9 out of 10, they do not get a job, but students who answer 5 out of 10 gets a job because of behavioral skills, humbleness, because of a positivity. And every company will put you into an induction training for 3 months, 6 months. So whatever deficiencies you have, they will fulfill that. So they want students who are eager to learn, who wants to learn, who are enthusiastic, inspired, motivated. Correct. So when you show more internships, when you show more projects, when you show more trainings, when you show more seminars, what you are showing actually? Are you showing your knowledge? No. You're not showing your knowledge, you're showing your enthusiasm. No, 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 Avina, this is not possible. In modern context, it is not possible. In modern context, it is not possible. Are you a vegetarian or non-vegetarian, Avinash? Are you a vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Non-veg. Avinash, I'm also a pure non-vegetarian, and trust me, I would love to eat everyday biryani, mutton korma, chicken every day, 2 meals. But is it that I'm going to get every day? Whatever will be the menu of the house, and a combination of different variety of food having different nutrients, that's going to be my diet. I have to eat rice, I have to eat roti, I have to eat vegetables, like I have to eat vitamins, proteins, so that my body remains healthy. It's like that. In a company also, whatever requirement the company has, they will put you in that field, that technology, that project. As a fresher, you do not have a choice. Choice comes only with expertise, only with experience. Maybe in future, when you grow in a company, when you build your experience, then actually you can show your choice of field or choice of technology. Okay, otherwise we have to accept whatever is served on the platter. Krishnendu, right, sir? Where to stick certificates on resume or mention? No, no, you don't have to stick certificates on the resume. You can actually, what? That's what I am saying is that you can write only the names and all, and okay, when I see it's an online resume, there is not a I do not know. See, unless and until the see again, this is a question which has a different answer. If the company specifies a format, if the company specifies a format, you don't have a choice. Otherwise, if company doesn't specify a format, at the end of your resume, after your signature, like at the end of your resume, you can definitely have the screenshots of all your certificates. Like if you can have all the screenshots in the subsequent pages as annexure. No issues. You can always do that. No one cares. It's an e-copy. So if there are like 7 pages, also no problem. So it's like a choice you give to the company. If they wish, they can go through your certificate. Otherwise, they can ignore. The first 1 or 2 pages contains your resume. Rest are your like additional documents. And you can also some companies like provide badges, or you can also create your own badge and put your badge. Like like for example, MTA from Microsoft, for example, AI from Ardent, for example, Google ARVR from Coursera. You can create small badges, like and put it rather than like putting all the certificate and all. You can create those badges and put as a summary. Okay, so like we are almost at the end of our scheduled time. By the way, I just want a feedback from all of you. Like, how was the session today? Did you like the session? Was that helpful? Yes or no? You can write on the chat window, or you can unmute also and say You can unmute also and say, let me hear some of the voices. May I hear some of the voices? Please unmute and say.
Yes, very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Like, when will I get an opportunity to, take a screenshot with all of you? I took a screen. Let me show you the screenshot which I took. See, this is the screenshot I took. See, it's more of, like black holes. It's more of black holes. Like only few are available. But students, it's a very, very clear and straight instruction from my end. On the day of the mock interview, when we schedule a mock interview, if you do not give the interview without your cameras on, you will not be allowed. Today I still excused. In my mail I wrote that you should be in an attire or in a state or in a condition to switch on your cameras. Today I excused you, but on the day of the mock interview, without your cameras on, I won't be allowing you to face the interview. So I'll be definitely mailing you, and I'll send a WhatsApp also regarding the mock interview process, but on that day your cameras has to be on. Okay, so with
Sir,
all yes, tell me.
yeah, I'm Manish here, sir.
Tell me.
Yeah,
Manish,
yeah,
tell
we
me,
have
Manish.
a lot of we were having a lot of misconceptions about the interview. Now you have cleared all those misconceptions. Thank you for that, sir.
Okay, thank you, Manish. Thank you so much, Manish. We'll have more such sessions. And you can also, share with me your queries in WhatsApp so that I can come up with the answers later, maybe in the next session. I guess my number is there with all of you. Let me share my number once again. This is my number, because I'm there with a group with the CRs and the teachers, but I may not be there with all of you. And so the number, I'll just write in 96747354770. And you can mail me if you want for anything here. Okay, so students, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much. Thanks for attending. And today's evening class will be as normal as usual. You will have your internship class today evening. Okay, bye bye, take care all of you. Thank you.